Christian Miller.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with 4-time SEC champion and 2-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking it down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this hump day edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 12:30. WTBC, hope everybody is doing well. Hope you guys are ready for another day yet in the off season here on the Miller's Edge. Like I told you guys, man, football might be done. Super Bowl was this past weekend, but we're going to keep trucking along. We got some things to dive into. I know we've been talking a lot about Bediako, but we're going to take a little bit of a side quest here and talk about some football, some exciting news, Chase, that has come out. I know a lot of people have been talking about this. A-Day has the latest updates, I should say. Now, not necessarily a full picture painted just yet on what it will be, but we have the latest that we'll talk about and discuss. So we'll dive in to that whole conversation. But in terms of basketball, they do have another game, their first game today without Charles Bediako. So kind of interesting to see how that whole thing looks, Chase. I mean, it's not like they played they didn't play without him earlier on, but I guess the past 5 games, you kind of got used to having the big man back on the roster. Now he will no longer be there. So I'm very curious to see how Alabama adjusts back to it. We heard from Nate Oates. Maybe we'll take a quick listen to what he had to say, or maybe parts of it. But we'll definitely dive into some of that. And at the top of the hour, we will be joined by none other than Slim Slade, former Alabama wide receiver. Slade Bolden to talk some good old football talk. Catch up with Slade. It's been a little bit of time since we've had Slade on the show, so there's plenty to catch up on and talk with him about. So we'll do that at the top of the hour. And per usual, we always encourage you guys to jump in on the conversation. How can you do that? Well, you can dial us up 205-342-9904. That is the number to the phone lines. If you guys like to get in on the conversation, feel free to jump on there. Or if you can't speak on the phone, you might be at work, maybe you're driving, whatever the case may be, you can always tune in to our streams, our live streams that we do on YouTube at The Miller's Edge, on Facebook at Tide 100.9. You can leave your comments there in the comment section. We'll read them, discuss them. You can interact with everybody else in the chat. Plus, we still have that app that we always encourage you to download, the Tide 100.9 app. That allows you to listen to virtually any show on the station from wherever you're at. Doesn't matter. And I think that is worldwide. Not even I think it is worldwide. So make sure you guys do that. Plus, you can always leave the app messages there. And there's a cool feature. There's a video message feature. So if you guys want to just rant about something and you didn't feel like calling in, you can always do that, and we can actually play it on air. So we forget to push that sometimes, but feel free to do that if you really want to get something off your chest. That said, Chase, when we come back after our quick timeout, we'll dive into the big news piece that's coming out right now. A-Day, as you guys can see from the title on the stream. I know a lot of you guys are really excited about it. Probably about a month away from spring football kicking off. A-Day, I'll give you guys the details when we come back with some big updates there. Not a full picture painted yet, but I'll give you guys my idea on how I feel like it ends up going based off of just kind of some things I read, and then just kind of having an idea on kind of how I feel like it's trending. So we'll discuss that and more after this quick timeout. But first, let me remind you about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you guys are in the market for those premium cigars, the best cigars you can find, best humidor here in the Southeast, look no further than R&R Cigars, located right here in Tuscaloosa, 2703 Gary Fitz Street. You can't miss it. The big mansion on the corner downtown. They'll take care of you just like they will on the website if you use that code Miller's Edge. Don't forget about that. Code Miller's Edge will get you 20% off on their website, rnrcigars.com, for any gift ideas. It's a great one. Or you got family members or yourself, enjoy a nice stick here and there like my dad, the pastor up paid. You guys know where to find them, R&R Cigars, where you can do that. Plus, you got the basketball game tonight. If you're looking for a place to go watch it, kick back, enjoy a nice stick. Over 160 bourbons also there for you to try. Make sure you guys check them out. That's R&R Cigars. Again, rnrcigars.com, code Miller's Edge. R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. We're going to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll dive into these details regarding A-Day that have just been announced, and we'll keep on rolling from there. Again, we got former Alabama wide receiver Slade Bolden joining us at the top of the hour. That's what's in store for you guys. So make sure you guys lock in, Stay ready, and we'll be right back after this quick timeout right on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
The Tusco.
What's up, guys? Kenji, what's up? Phil, what's going on? Joey, what's up? Dwight, chat, what's up? Carson, what's going on, man? See you guys rolling in here. Happy hump day to you. What's up? How can I copy you on a video? Tried to, but it says I don't have permission. Uh, what platform are you talking about, Joey? When you say copy me on a video, you mean like tag us in something? I'm trying to think. Wait, copy us on a video. I'm assuming you're talking about just tagging us, right? Keith, what's up? Oh, on YouTube. So well, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I don't know about tagging people on YouTube. I mean, can't you maybe like tag us in a comment? I know you can tag people if you collaborate. Like when I did the interview with Outkick, they collaborated with us, but that's different. I don't think you're talking about that. But if you're talking about just showing us, I mean, tell or you can tell me in the chat, and I can look it up real quick. Yeah, try that. I think you can tag us if you do like at the Miller's Edge in the comment section. That should work. And if not, just tell me what video it is, and I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. I'm curious what it is. Any big news going on or something that we're missing? Justin, what's up, man? It's been a minute. Glad to have you back, brother. Make that smaller. Yeah, I think so too, Course. I think they just tag us like that. But let me make sure I pull up. I'll have to pull up. I'm on the creator page. Let me pull up our regular YouTube. That way I can see it. Man, I wanted to play some pieces of Damian Square talking about what he was talking about on the Bama Standard, but there's no way we could play that on air. No way we could get away with that. Oh, ironically, so you're talking about Damian Square. Are you talking about I know what clip you're talking about. It's the one that they play every year when it's trying to think when they pull up that clip like for a certain game or maybe it's like the first game of the season, but his locker room speech. Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, I feel like that's ingrained in like everybody's heads. Carson's trying to rage bait people, which is the craziest thing. Maybe we need to touch on that. I feel like between the Super Bowl performance, that whole thing started going political, and this ain't political, but I'm like, man, I don't even want to dive into stuff that is just nonsensical like that. But you're 100% right. He's a Super Bowl champion. But the craziest thing was I saw him post what he posted. Epic picture, had the goggles, I think, smoking a cigar. Typical fashion, what guys do, when you win a Super Bowl. And I know normally you think of like Joe Burrow or the guy who's playing, right? But regardless, I mean, you're in that position. You can only do that once. That was the craziest thing. A bird literally just ran into the window. That was very weird. Very weird. But anyway, I saw his picture and I was like, oh man, that's fire. And then you look at the comments and like every single comment section, every single comment under his photo was just like hate, man. I've never seen somebody who's just like a solid dude trigger so many people just by being him. Like it's wild. This time though, it wasn't really like a whole bunch. It was outside of our fan base. There was still some there, but um, I'm just like, what if you guys won a Super Bowl? Like knowing how hard it is to get there. I mean, hard it is to win. Whether you're on the equipment, I know people on the equipment staff that pose and take photos and ask to hold the trike. We'll talk about this. That's a good point. And welcome back into this Hump Day edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, let's dive into these updates because I know you guys have been talking a lot about 8A and trying to figure out what is the latest. So here is the latest. This is what we have as of now. Again, not necessarily the biggest details that you guys might have been hoping for, but we got something in terms of its schedule. Officially scheduled for April 11th, 11 to 1. Those are good hours. Those are our showtime hours here on the Miller's Edge, except we're off on the weekend, so no conflicts there. But it will be held in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Same deal as usual. Now, in terms of details on format, those seem to have been omitted, at least at this point. But this is what the press reads. Alabama Athletics and head football coach Kalen DeBoer announced Wednesday that the Golden Flake 8A will take place on Saturday, April 11th, 11. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Whoa. I mixed all this up. It is not 11 to 1. It starts at 1. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm dyslexic now. Starts at 1 inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. While additional details surrounding 8A will be announced at a later date, attendees should note that some modifications will be made relative to upgraded experiences, activations outside the stadium, concessions, and premium seating due to preparations for the concert on Saturday, April 18th. The annual Walk of Fame ceremony at Denny Chimes, honoring the 2025 captains, will still take place prior to the scrimmage as well, as will the Walk of Champions. Sorry, maybe I'm becoming dyslexic, cannot read today. All right. So that's the latest that we have regarding 8A. So you got an official date, official start time. Let me go back. I made a mistake. It's not 11 to 1. Maybe I just saw April 11th. It's at 1. It starts at 1 on the 11th of April at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So all that's great. Now, in terms of some of these details, it did mention some of these modifications that will be made to upgrade experience. So maybe there might be some cool offerings that they have. Maybe trying to, I don't know, maybe round up some more cash for NIL. And then in terms of like the concert, which is that big Morgan Wallen concert that they're having, which those tickets were crazy, Chase. I don't know if you saw that, but they they were going up when they first came out. I'm sure they're probably even more expensive now. But anyway, it looks like they might be working around that a little bit. But I'm curious when they talk about some of these details and modifications that will be made. Are they upgraded experiences in the extent that maybe I don't know, like something totally different? Because typically you have the concessions open, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I've never really gone to them. I'm normally kind of like on the sideline where I was playing, so I don't really know. But I'm assuming concessions have always been open, but maybe they're changing them up a little bit. I've heard some people throw some ideas around that could be cool ideas to maybe raise some NIL money, so maybe that has something to do with it. Um, Other than that, and then stuff outside the stadium, that's cool. And that's what I was saying the other day. I hope they take advantage of day 8A and use it as a way, Chase, to I don't know, raise more money, make it a really cool experience. Because this is my thing. The old format, it felt almost like a not a real game day, but it had like game day vibes to it. At least I always thought that. And I felt that you could always build off of that and just make it really fun. I mean, people are starving for football, right? And it's the last time folks will get to see Alabama football take the field in Bryant-Denny Stadium for, I mean, I don't know what, 5 or so months, something like that. So I think you do as much as you can. I think there's plenty of opportunities had. We talk so much about NIL, take advantage of this opportunity. Not trying to run the pockets of all the fans, but there's a lot of willing fans, I would imagine, that would love to, you know, contribute and have other options available. And it sounds like maybe they're working towards that. Now, in terms of a format, nothing officially has been announced. But Chase, with the way things are trending, we talked about it last week. I think there's a number of schools kind of going back to a traditional format. I'm under the impression that there's a good chance that it ends up going back to the at least close to the original format. I'm not going to say the exact same format because remember, it used to be televised on ESPN, very much felt like a game day vibe. I know kickoff and special teams, those were like controlled periods. That was not going all out, and it was basically just kind of just going through the motions type deal. But it felt like the rhythm of a football game. I'm not saying it goes back to that completely, but something tells me they're going to be very close to that, if not damn near that, right? I could imagine a lot more team drills. I know last year, which I didn't have a problem with 8A last year personally. I thought it was fine. It mimicked fan day, which is during fall camp, which I don't think is a bad thing. You see a lot of individual drills. You see them do some 7-on-7 stuff, one-on-one. I mean, it's basically the format of Fan Day, if you guys are familiar with that, which I'm sure you are. And they do, a few 11-on-11 drills or 11-on-11 periods. So I didn't have a problem with it personally, but I do think going back to the original format will generate a lot more excitement because I went to A-Day last year and I was walking around down like on the field. Um, and I just remember looking and there was a good turnout, but it definitely was not the same turnout that we had seen in past years with the old format. I know a lot of people were already saying, well, we're not going to go if we can't do that. But then the other big thing, Chase, was that with it not being televised, a lot of people didn't even have the luxury of seeing it because there's a lot of Alabama fans that don't live around here. So you really had no way of seeing the team. So there's no mention of it being televised either, even if it does take on that format. Maybe that's something they could consider too, regardless of the format. And maybe they did something like this and I just wasn't aware of it. Maybe they could, for Yay Alabama subscribers, let me stop giving them ideas unless they want to hire me, but maybe they could have something like that for Yay Alabama subscribers, live stream it. That way, folks outside of the state can see the event regardless of the format, whether it's the Fan Day format or a scrimmage format. Guarantee you'd probably earn a lot more subscriptions doing that. But that's the latest with it, Chase. But let me ask you, what's your hunch right now? I mean, I know they didn't say too much in this release, and I know the one they do mention. This is one thing I will point out. They do say will still take place prior to the scrimmage. Now, I don't know if that's me reading too into what they said right there, the language that's being used, but when they say the scrimmage, that kinda gives me the feeling that there's a good chance it's a little bit more scrimmage-like. That's why I said whether it's back to the original format or just a little bit more scrimmage-like, because they do use the word scrimmage. Now, I don't know if they used that word last year when they described it or what are your thoughts on this, Chase? I mean, I know it's very little to go off of, but where are you leaning towards? You think we see, like, a traditional spring game format, or you think they kinda stick with what they did last year?
I think they stick with what they did last year. I think just kind of where everything is at in college football right now. I think you want to attract the fans as much as possible, but I
Mhm.
think a lot of people were let down that there was originally was going to be an 8A for this year. So I think they got a lot of pushback forward. And, no matter the crowd size was it last year, I went. It was great to see everybody enjoying, from little kids to older people, like everybody was enjoying just being able to see football. Football is so glorified here. I've learned that being here in Alabama. And I think for a lot of people who can't afford season tickets or be able to purchase a ticket for whether it's a non conference game, a home game, whatever the case may be, this is the opportunity for a lot of fans to see some of the favorite players they follow all the time in person. And I think if
Mm.
they could push it towards a scrimmage like back in the day, that would generate so much more. And like the ideas you were coming up with, which they should sponsor you by. Let's be clear about that. And honestly, especially like for me, who's learning more about Alabama football day by day and learning about these players and what the atmosphere is like. I had a first glance of that last year, and I was blessed enough to go with a couple of friends and just learn more about the fight song and the, like famous foods here afterwards. So I think it's such a big attraction here in Alabama about 8A, and I feel like if you minimize that and take away certain aspects that attract fans from all over the world to come here to Tuscaloosa for 8A, I think you might as well not even have it. But hopefully they change it up a little bit and they're able to bring back what once was, and like you said, was televised. Everybody looked forward. Even rivals would watch because it was such a big event with, especially with Alabama representing SEC football.
Yeah, and allegedly, that's one of the big reasons we saw a lot of teams go away from it because there's the big concern about the transfer portal and teams trying to poach players and all that good stuff. But in my opinion, I mean that whole thing is done, right? There's no more concern. There's only one portal window this season, right? Which we've run through that. We're done with that. No more of it. Your roster is set. Now, technically, you can still add a guy from the portal, but you get what I'm saying. You don't have to worry about any of your players leaving. Those guys are set now. I guess the only thing they could do is sit out, right? They could do the red shirt rule and sit out, only playing 4 games. But you get my point. So, in my opinion, I don't see why you wouldn't, other than to what you said. I mean, you had the format from last year. You just stick with it. That's kind of what I was saying the other day, even like with the media. You know, you had the COVID period. The media kind of, fell off because of that, and they just stuck with it for a while at least those same rules, even though things were cleared back up. So I don't know, but allegedly other schools are going back to the original format. And in my opinion, if NIL is going to be on the forefront and you're always looking for more opportunities to capitalize on it and to raise money, we know how important that is. I just feel like it would be a wasted opportunity to not go above and beyond and just try to find as many ways possible, which I'm not saying the format has to be that style of format in order to raise as much money. But to your point, I don't think many people are going to travel in like they typically would. Because let's just face it. I mean, if you want to really pack out the stadium, it requires people from all over coming into town. The reality was, it felt like last year it was a lot more local. Not saying you didn't have people from surrounding areas or even some people that drove in, but compared to the past where people would drive here from, state to state, different states, right? Or fly in here because it felt like a game versus last season. I think people were just like, I'm not going to waste the time or money because it is very expensive to travel just to go see a, I guess, glorified practice. And I can't blame them. I mean, because again, it costs a lot of money to do that stuff. So I don't know. If it was me, I definitely would strongly consider trying to take advantage of every opportunity possible. And that would probably look like going back to a traditional spring game format. It doesn't even have to be televised. That's the other thing, Chase. They could just do the spring game format to attract people to come, but then don't televise it. And I think you probably would make both sides happy. Maybe the staff and whatever would be happy with that, not having to worry about it being televised, even though that threat's not really there anymore. But then you also have the fans a lot more happy to be able to come in and enjoy that experience to what it used to be, which they all really enjoyed. So I don't know, really interesting stuff. But I want to get y'all's thoughts. 205-342-9904. Did y'all enjoy last year's format? How do you think it goes this year? Do you have hopes or confidence that it goes back to the original format, or do you think we see another copy of what we saw last season? We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. We got Slade Bolden at the top of the hour. We'll be joined by him via the stream. So if you guys want to check us out, chatting it up, chopping it up, join us on the Miller's Edge YouTube channel at the Miller's Edge. Real easy to find, or the Tide 100.9 Facebook page as well. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling right here. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Charles Country Buffet.
Use 8A as a way to bring in the FCS school. It's just not going to happen, man. It's just not going to happen. She'll play in a season for a control scrimmage, removes a game from the season, replaced with another non-P4 game. Yeah, Keith, it's just not going to happen, man. I hear you, but it's just not going to happen. And my whole argument to that is not saying it's a bad idea, but this is my thought process when it comes to that. The other team would benefit tremendously, but what benefit would Alabama really get? We'll talk about that's a great talking point. But what benefit does Alabama really get by bringing in lower competition like that, knowing how those games go already, right? So what's going to be more beneficial to your team? And I get it, that game is even like the spring game itself. It's not made to really go out there and go all out, and so I get that point. But in my head, it's like, we go beat up and dominate those teams. They're going to have the luxury of practicing against, the University of Alabama. That's a great opportunity for them. But for us, is it really, how beneficial would that be, versus just going against our own guys who are much better caliber players? Not saying it's a bad idea, Keith, because I know a lot of people think like that. And I think there definitely are arguments there. That's just how I think about it. It's like, well, is it really beneficial when our roster is going to be comprised of guys that are much better players than any school that we would bring in on the FCS level. I know my dad kind of pitched something similar like that, and that's just always kind of where I go with it. But that's a great talking point. Treat like high school does and scrimmage a team, NFL kickoff and return rules, full on offense, defense. Man, I don't see them ever going to that, like the scrimmage deal. Because remember they blocked was it Colorado trying to do it with Syracuse, or who was it they were trying to do it with? I can't remember, but I just remember they blocked them from doing it. So something just tells me that we just don't we probably won't see that happen, unfortunately. Hold on, Dwight. You play linebacker in middle school, and then moved to corner. So that you know what that tells me? That tells me that you were one of those people that you hit your growth spurt early. And you were probably a lot bigger than people in middle school, but then you probably stayed around that size and then everybody else caught up. That's what that kind of sounds like, man. You said you played linebacker in middle school and then you played corner in high school. Still going against non-teammates, and they'll try to impress for future portal look. Yeah, I mean, I listen, I hear the logic behind it. Size changed up. I knew it, man. We had a dude that it was funny. We had a dude that went to my middle school. In middle school, he was like bigger than everybody. He was like the cool dude because he was bigger than everybody. He always had like all the new pairs of Jordan and stuff. I'm almost thinking they were probably fake at this point because I mean he literally had like a million pairs of shoes. And I remember one time somebody accused him that anyway. But then when we got to high school, it was like he just stayed at that size. And then he was like small in high school. It was the weirdest thing because in middle school he was bigger than everybody. But that's kind of what that was sounding like, Dwight. That might have been you, bro. Might have been you, man. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah, I'll throw that out for the radio and see if we get any radio responses on that one. That I mean that's an interesting idea. I don't know, man. I don't know. We had Chase's thoughts on it too. Let's see what he has to say. Is it A-Day or practice? Regardless, it's called A-Day, so we can at least say that. But in terms of it being more of the practice, I don't know for sure. Something tells me, again, I don't know. I'm just saying I have the feeling that there's a good chance that it ends up being a little bit more, I don't know, team like in terms of kind of how they do it. Hey, if you guys haven't, man, hit that like button. I've been bad about reminding you guys. So if you guys haven't, man, hit that like button real quick. We're coming back now. And welcome back into this hump day edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, we're talking A-Day updates. The latest has dropped today. Again, Chase, we just were chatting about it a little bit. April 11th, the official date for A-Day, 1 p.m. Central Time. No news on the format officially, but something tells me there's a good chance that we see it. I don't know. Go back a little bit. Chase feels otherwise, and part of me, I could totally see them keeping the same format as last year. Honestly, it went well. I know a lot of people probably weren't as happy with it. Me personally, I mean, they did do some team drill at the end. They did 11 on 11 for probably what, like 20, maybe 30. Actually, I think it's longer than that. It's probably almost 30 minutes. Um, so let me ask you guys this though. I mean, say they went to more of like just a lot of 11 on 11, but it didn't mimic like the old format was pretty much like a game, right? Like they kept score. You had one offense and two defense on a team versus two defense and wait, hold on. I might have confused myself. You get my point though. They had two separate teams. They had the Crimson team, the White team. They kept score. They did special teams and all that. It was the regular flow of a game for the most part. But if say they just went to a format, because last year's format we talked about it was very similar to Fan Day. You know, they did warm ups. They did all the stuff they would do for like a practice, right? A lot of individual drill. They did 7-on-7s and 1-on-1 stuff, all that stuff before they got to some team drills. But they did about a 20, 30-minute period of team drill, just scrimmaging each other. Let me ask you guys this though. I mean, say it didn't have like the score kept, the like full on format of a game like the old A-Days did, but they did majority, say like 75% of the time outside of them, you know, you got to warm up, do I think matter of fact, I think we used to do a little bit of Indian stuff before we did A-Day. I think that's common practice. Would y'all be good if it was just like a lot of 11 on 11? Because here's the deal. And this is kind of what I'm thinking when I say like kind of going back to it, but not completely. Maybe it's not the full game format, but maybe they treat it like how they do their scrimmages. The way they do their scrimmages is, at least under Coach DeBoer, a little bit different than us. Because well, let me just explain like this because I don't want to get too confusing. So the scrimmage format, the way they do it is actually little bit more in that sense where they kind of let it flow like a game, at least the majority of the scrimmages that I've been to. They do all the stuff we talked about beforehand, like we always did. But then once they get to the actual scrimmage piece, the way we scrimmaged was it was very controlled, meaning we would have periods during the scrimmage. So we would have like team move the field period, which is actually just trying to move the field. It felt very similar to a game. But then we, finish that period. Then we go to goal line or red zone period. Then we'd have coming out period where the offense would start like inside the 5-yard line. Then we'd have third down period where there would just be a bunch of just third and long situations. Then we'd have 2-minute drill. So what I'm asking is if they did something like that, or the way they scrimmage under Coach DeBoer is definitely more like really just kind of like a game flow thing. Like they have like the first offense out there, then first defense or second defense, whatever the format is. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but then they let those guys kind of work down. Like if there's I don't know, if you get stopped, you get stopped, but you get what I'm saying. It's not as like controlled in periods like we used to do. Would you guys be happy with that, or does it have to feel like a true game style scrimmage like the ones of the past? Like I don't know if I explained that well enough, but I'm just curious because I could see a world where they just treat it a little bit more like a scrimmage versus the practice that they did last year, and I think that would be more exciting for you guys. But I don't know. It's, for some reason I just don't see them going all the way back to like the whole true game like A-Day. I just don't. And I could be totally wrong. Just part of me is like, I don't think they do that, but I could see them making it more like a scrimmage. Yeah, there you go, From. Kind of like situational football is what we used to do a lot. And they do it a little bit too. Um, but yeah, I mean, what if it was like a situational football type scrimmage, or I'll just say, I'll use the word scrimmage, where you don't really have like the kickoff, or it's not like for A-Day in the past, remember, it was legit like a game. So if the offense was driving down the field and they got stopped, that's a stop. They would punt the ball and the other team would take over and they would, obviously do their thing. If it's not like that, but it's just like a straight scrimmage, a bunch of 11 on 11 drills, would you guys still enjoy that? I feel like that would still be a little bit more interesting, right? And at least for me, that's it sounds more interesting to me for like the fans. I mean, I'm good with whatever. I just enjoy just watching some football. But I get it, it's more fun when it's actually feeling like a game. But I don't think it's bad either to, if you really take advantage of going and watch like for last year, I mean, you get to see guys work through individual drills and really get to see them move and stuff. But maybe you guys don't like that part of it. Like to me, when I'm like looking at guys or quote unquote watching tape, I'm not going to use the word scouting because I'm not necessarily scouting anybody. But I like being able to see that kind of stuff. But I get it. Most fans are probably just like, you just want to watch them play. You don't really care about those details. I think it's fine. And maybe that's why I enjoyed it a little bit more. The other thing I wanted to bring up real quick while we're back on the radio side of things was that we had a great, I guess, suggestion in the chat from Keith. And his was similar to what we've talked about in the past. And my dad's thrown this out there a little bit with, one day bringing in an FCF school or a smaller school, non-P4 school, and scrimmaging those guys. I just don't see it happening, guys. I just don't. I just don't. Number one, NCAA is going to, step in just like they did with Colorado, unless they fully make it available and legal. And two, I just don't really see the benefit on the side of the school like Alabama, right? And the example I gave during the break when we were talking about this on the stream was that if you're Alabama and you have a decision like, okay, we could scrimmage a small FCS or non-P4 school, which when we play them during the regular season, we beat them 63-0. It is what it is. That's the caliber of football team they are. At what point do we look at that and just say, it's not really worth our time to do that when we could just scrimmage our own guys and get a much better look? Even though we know the scrimmages tend to be a little bit more, I'm not going to say pull back because people used to think like when we used to scrimmage, like when I was here, I mean, we went at it. Now, obviously, we protected each other. It's not like we were trying to cut blocks. It's not like we were trying to hurt people, but no, we were trying to hit dudes. We were trying to jack folks up. We were trying to, make a name for ourselves, impress the coaching staff because we knew what we did in the spring had a big, had a big effect on how they viewed us throughout the summer as the staff kind of was getting ready for fall camp and where we would kind of go into fall camp at. You still had to go out there and prove it during fall camp. But if you had a good spring, I mean, that could pay dividends for you as a player. So we were very competitive, and I just wonder, you know, is it worth it at that point to go scrimmage a team that you can go beat 66 to nothing easy, versus let's scrimmage our own guys with a roster that consists of a lot of 5 and 4 stars, good football players that are SEC caliber players. That's the only thing that I would say about that. But I'm curious what you guys think. Would you guys like that better? Like a FCS opponent coming in here, say it's like they'll never do this. We don't even schedule them, but the in-state schools. I mean, how about like a UAB? I think it would be dope. I mean, if Alabama could scrimmage UAB, even though I just said it's not the biggest benefit, but I find UAB is a decent squad. At least they have been. They picked up a big win last season over, who was it? Undefeated. Is it Memphis or something? But anyway, that would be dope, but it's never going to happen. But I don't know. Curious to get y'all's thoughts. 205-342-9904. We got Turner on the line. We're going to come to him when we come back. We got to hit a quick timeout. And then at the top of the hour, we'll be joined by former Alabama wide receiver Slade Bolden. And we'll do all that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Don't go anywhere. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. No, there's no official word on if it's going to be more of the practice format or more of a game format. There's no official word on that, but so far just official date, start time, some mentions of some would they word it, upgraded experiences, I think. Yeah. So it sounds like they're going to be doing some stuff outside and around it. I mean, to me, it the way it reads, and they use the word scrimmage here. To me, the way it reads, there definitely could be. They probably won't be as bare as they were last year, but not sure if they go completely back to a game. But we'll see. We'll have to see, man. But no, that's the latest. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you guys. I know exactly what they're doing. I just kind of going off of what I have an idea of, but I don't know. If someone tells me, I'll definitely give you guys an update. OTAs, OTAs is just organized team activity, so that's more at most wearing helmets. And then you got mandatory minicamp, which is a few days long and the same thing. You're just in helmets doing it's basically like several practices in helmets. And then OTAs start off without helmets. You're just doing a bunch of just, you know, indie work. Yeah, so basically the way OTAs work, so that's just the off-season program for the NFL. So you start off with doing a bunch of, you got working out is like the first phase of it, a lot of working out, you go on the field, no helmet or anything, kind of run around a little bit, do some individual stuff, walk through installs, things like that. Um, and then once it ramps up a little bit, like I said, you can wear helmets and go out there. It's kind of like practicing with just a helmet type deal. Yeah, with it, you don't do any. You're not going against anybody during OTAs. Nobody ever links up with other teams for OTAs. That's only in training camp when you have joint practices. But the way they do it now is there's different phases. Like I said, the first phase, I mean, guys are working out with the team. Um, you meet. It's just kind of similar to how it is during spring, like for what we do in college, where it's like winter time, where the guys are at now. Without like the fourth quarter, it's kind of like around fourth quarter type deal. It's like strength and conditioning. You're working out, meeting a little bit, and then the next phase is when you can actually go out on the field. You got helmets and stuff, and you can actually it's almost like a practice type deal, but with helmets. I can't remember. Maybe phase 2 doesn't have the helmets just yet, but regardless, you're out on the field working and doing stuff. But then phase 3, when it ramps up going into mini camp, it basically feels like a practice just with helmets though. So you'll do Indy, you'll do, install periods, you'll do 11 on 11 stuff, but I mean, you're just wearing helmets, just tagging off on guys. So, but I wouldn't mind if college adapted those rules for their offseason program. I don't think that would be bad either, because I think calendar wise, it could also help out with a number of things. And welcome back into this Hump Day edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Let's go to the phone lines where we get the slate at the top of the hour, 205-342-9904. We got our guy Turner from South Kakalaki. Turner, welcome in.
What's up, Christian? How you been, man?
Man, I can't complain. Turner, how's everything, brother?
I am between Florence and Dirty Myrtle right now. I'm going out there for work, so I'm traveling today.
Nice.
But everything's good, man. I can't complain. Spring's going to come here soon, and that means turkey season will be coming up and spring games. My question is, now, one, I do think it would be kind of cool, play like a scrimmage of UAB, as long as they could get all the guys and get reps in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be cool, because usually in the spring game, I mean, the coaches get reps to all the guys they want to, pretty much, correct? Because you're dividing the team in half, right?
Yeah. In the past, yeah. So you would have first offense and I think second defense on a team, and then first defense and second offense on a team. And it was like a game format, but you'd switch in and out of a couple series would be the ones, then you go to the twos. So everybody would get
Right.
reps. Then even the threes would also get reps. So they make sure everybody at some point gets some type of reps during the game. And it would probably be the same if you did scrimmage somebody else. It's just my biggest thing against that would be how beneficial would it be compared to just scrimmaging your own guys who have SEC prototypical size, strength, speed, all that good stuff versus we all know how it goes. Anytime Alabama plays an FCS school, especially who was it that I don't even remember the team name we beat this past season 70-0. At what point is that? I don't think it was Monroe. Was it Eastern Illinois? But I'm just saying, is that still beneficial for us versus having this offensive line go against the starters that we just brought in, London, Simmons, those guys. I mean, to me, I think you're getting much more. Now, again, I get it just one. The other argument, too, is it's just one day. So, to be fair, these guys are going to be going against each other for 12, 13, however many practices there are during the spring. Then it's one day. So, I don't think it would be like the end of the world if you did scrimmage a small school. I don't think it would be the most productive thing to do if you're a team like Alabama. Now, from their side, the small school side, it would be a dream. I mean, those guys get to go scrimmage the University of Alabama. They get all the exposure that comes with it. They get the looks. I mean, that would be great. Right. But I think there's more cons than pros, in my opinion, because then you also run the risk. What if one of your guys get hurt scrimmaging a small school like that? Was it worth it? Even though, again, and I get it, that could also happen if you scrimmage each other. So I don't know, but I think there's just definitely an argument to be made there.
And my question is because Alabama's played A-Day for as long as I can remember, right? So is it because of NIL and potential tampering that they've quit the format like they do? Like there's some schools that I saw it on social media where one school said they're not even having their spring game. Is it because of the exposure, the potential tampering? We like it, and then, after spring it doesn't open up this year, right? The portal?
Correct, yeah. So the portal, there's only one portal window. That was the latest update with it. Instead of two, there was just one, and that was the one that just passed. So your team is set. And to answer your question, that was a lot of the, I guess, concern, I think, with a lot of schools. I don't know if coaches necessarily came out and said that themselves, but I think it was a matter of, hey, why do we want to go on live television and broadcast ourselves scrimmaging each other to showcase, number one, who we are as a football team, Number two,
Right.
all the young players that we have that could be potentially poached. Because yes, last year you ran the risk of as soon as A-Day was pretty much done, that spring window was opening up, and guys could choose to then leave, which was a huge issue for a lot of teams in their rosters. That no longer
Oh,
is a concern.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you think about it, you're coaching, you do a spring game, and after that spring game, the coaches are doing analysis on the players. And, one guy they had at receiver that they thought was going to start, well, this other guy really showed out. You know what? I might have to put him in the rotation or whatever, right? And then another school season, and then when that portal window opens up, then they could go, like you said, they could go poach. And I kind of, connected the dots. It was like, just like you said, they don't want to profile the talent that's out there. And like you said, another team could be like, well, he's not first string because this guy's playing, but he's a talent. Let's go after him, and get him to come to wherever. So I'm glad they closed that spring one, because I thought it was, imagine being a coach and you got your 11 starters and your depth chart set, and then 5 guys leave. Man, that's got to be just drive you nuts as a coach.
Yeah, no, it was a big issue, but now that they fixed that, I think it changes. But like I said, there's various reasons. I mean, a lot of coaches, I think that was the main reason. But here's an example. This was Steve Sarkisian's reason. So, by the way, Texas is bringing back their spring game. So they didn't do it last year in 2025, but this year they anticipate doing it. But this was his reason why they canceled last year. He said a couple of reasons why over the last 2 years we played 30 games. That's a lot of college football. 14 2 years ago, 16 this year. Just mentioned we had 25 guys get invited to the NFL Combine last 2 years. Got a lot of young players on our roster. 21 mid-year guys from high school that just showed up. And so the development that's needed for these guys to get ready for the fall is a little bit different than it used to be. Our approach is going to be a little bit different, more NFL driven, kind of more like OTA style early on in the format, second half of spring ball. And I just don't know if rolling the ball out, playing a game when we only get 15 practices, it's the best thing to maximize the opportunities that we get. So it's going to look a little bit different approach, but I think college football is changing right now. So now that you look back on it, that they've brought back their spring game, it's starting to sound kind of like a little bit of BS. All that was basically like a word salad, because now they're bringing it back. So why bring it back the next year?
They didn't want to be critical of that spring portal, right?
More than likely.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
I mean, anybody can connect the dots, and So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Like the last 2 or 3 years, there's some schools that didn't have it, or it was closed, or whatever, right?
Yep. We'll have to see though. Well, I'll keep you updated. Yeah, always, Turner, man. Good to hear from you, man. Be safe on that road, brother.
All right, brother. Be good. See you.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Good deal. All right, we got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we got Slim Slady joining us right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Slim Slady, can you hear me?
Mill, yeah. What's up,
All right,
baby?
good deal. Sorry, man. I just had to make sure because sometimes when my dad jumps on it, like it cuts him out. I don't know why.
Yeah, we're real technical savvy over here, aren't we?
Yeah, I was about to say maybe that's him being a little bit technically declined, or what would it be? I guess declined.
I'm definitely declined. I'm on a fast slope when it comes to anything tech related.
No chance, man. How's everything been, bro?
It's been good, bro. Just the start of the new year, first quarter, I guess, and my career. It's got some good things going, some things that are also moving slow. I think right now it's probably going to start picking up here soon because that first of the year, man, everybody's just getting that post Christmas, New Year kind of slump and hangover, I guess. So nobody really wants to talk to me about insurance, but other than that, man, I'm doing good. I'm actually moving to Nashville here in 2 weeks. So I'll be out there.
Congrats.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Are you still going to be able to do the same role that you're doing now, just remote
Yeah. Well, luckily we have an
or
office
different
out
office?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That
Oh, it's
makes
in
perfect sense.
Franklin, but I mean it's 30 minutes if that. So yeah, man, life, right? Just hits you like a train. And shoot, I didn't know I was gonna live in Fort Worth either. So I mean that's you never know. You never know. I always wanted to stay in the South if obviously if I wasn't playing, because at that point, you can't really choose. It's wherever you're playing at.
Yeah, wherever the wind blows.
All right. But if I was playing and not playing anymore, I always wanted to live in either Atlanta, Nashville, or Dallas to just kind of stay in the SEC area. And
Oh yeah.
I've lived in Atlanta. I'm good. I'm good on all that. And I've obviously Fort Worth, which is pretty much Dallas, different, very different. But yeah, so been in Nashville plenty of times. I know the idea. But
I was about
yeah,
to say, I
man.
feel like I was for some reason I thought you were staying there because I feel like a lot of our guys are there, or I feel like maybe you've been there a bunch. I don't know. I feel like is Keaton still in that area?
Yeah, so Keaton lives in Franklin. Actually, I saw him not too recently, or not too recent. I saw him pretty recently around New Year's. We went and got lunch. I mean, he's, 2 kids now, super busy, running his company, but it was good to see him. But yeah, he's lived out there for a few years now, maybe two, something like that. He's got a nice place if you can imagine.
No, I never would have guessed Keaton
Uh,
Anderson, CEO of is it OIM
well,
Nutrition. And
he
is he still doing that?
was. Well, I don't know if he's over that one anymore, but now he's working for it's called Renew Wellness brand, so just like a different type of supplemental wellness brand. Uh, and
Wait,
he's
he
gotten that
jumped
up and
ship on
running.
his own nutrition company?
I really think he's just kind of in a role to like build them. Like they're
He's just
probably,
pumping them out. I mean, like the hell, tell him let's start one for Alabama. Tell him let's do one based off of that.
well, I think that he was getting in the door with OIM or OM, however you say it, with
Yeah, I
Bama,
know
but
he was connected there. They were using his product.
yeah. So I don't know. I think he's kind of. I mean, they still own it, or it's one of their subsidiary companies. I'm sure whatever is over their, TNT and all that. That's
I
they
mean,
kind of
what
go
don't they
in.
own?
Shit, you ain't lying.
I know.
It's amazing. The companies I keep finding out. Like he told me not probably a year ago that they I don't know if they bought out, but they probably bought a healthy amount of shares in Cavender Boots. And I was like, oh my God. Like that is huge.
Yeah, that's a big
Uh
deal. Yeah, I mean, just there's another brand, another shoe and clothing apparel that he was in on. I remember he showed me. He was like, "Yeah, have you ever or looking for somebody? You got to check them out, man. They're good stuff." I'm like, you just casually just dropped that you or your family owns. I'm like,
right, yeah, just casually. Well, if it's the
oh yeah,
clothes that
good to know.
he's wearing, because it was funny. I was like, man, I like the jacket you wearing. He was like naming this like Italian brand that's like, $1,000. Like, never mind.
Yeah, yeah, might not. Yeah, save up a little bit on that one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, he's no, he's good people, man. All right,
No
everybody,
doubt.
come back. And welcome back into this Hump Day edition of the Miller's Edge, Tie 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hour number 2 officially underway. Now we're joined by our guy, Slim Slady, former Alabama wide receiver. Been a minute since we had Slade here on the show. He's been a little busy with his gig that he's doing on the road. I saw you. Were you down at the
Life.
Super Bowl? Life for sure. I saw
Yeah,
that picture with Rampage Jackson. I don't know if have you seen him like stream now? I know he was a dog in the octagon as a fighter, but he's a live streamer now.
really.
And yeah, if you haven't seen his streams, definitely entertaining. I haven't watched like a whole stream like through and through, but like if you see his clips, man, he's wild
Yeah.
and not
Well,
like
it's
in a fighting
funny.
way.
Right. Well, dude, he was cool. Like you never know what to expect, especially as fighters. Obviously, you remember one coming to speak to us.
Yeah.
A little outside the box. Mike Tyson being the name of that guy. But yeah, he was cool as hell. I remember because I was down there with Bring the Juice Pod. I did it last year. I was there pretty much whole week last year in New Orleans. just because of my job, and I was coming off my buddy Pierce Quick's bachelor trip. So I missed like Thursday and Friday. Not that I had to be in the office, but something like that. Like I'm not really getting a lot of work done. And then I knew I was going to be in San Francisco Monday and Tuesday. Stay with our boy Mac 10. Got to see him, which was good.
Heck yeah. How's he
Yeah,
doing?
he's doing great, man. He's happy. Um, I don't know really what the future holds for him. Obviously, I think he's in a great position being with Shanahan and staying in the 49ers. Obviously, it's a great organization. But
Mhm.
obviously, like there's some opportunities out there for him that he floated around that aren't like, obviously sticky, but could potentially happen for him to get a renegotiation with a different team, traded, whatever. But I
Oh
know he's
yeah.
going to do what's best for him because you never know what can happen. I mean, we've obviously Sam Darnold being a prime example of you know, getting drafted to a bad situation, not playing well, and just kind of having to bounce around, and then having a year that he came out and killed it, and then getting the big contract. And look, I mean, he's Super Bowl champion.
Oh yeah.
And I think Matt could do the same thing. I think if he's in a great system, he can really really shine, and that's what obviously we saw that this year with San Francisco, but anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I was down there, and Rampage was he walked behind our little booth a couple times, and he was getting interviewed, whatever. And I saw who I assume was like his manager, assistant, whatever. I just went up to him, hey man, my name's Slade Bolden. Look, I'm with Brenda Juice. These guys over here, huge UFC guys. We've interviewed. I'm trying to think his first name, but Stapora. We've interviewed another guy that I'm actually friends with, Steve Najian, who's an up and coming fighter.
Mhm.
Actually, won fight of the night, had like 5 night knockdowns on one guy. He's really good. And the manager's like, yeah, he's free. So I told Frank, who runs the pod, like, hey, like we got to get Rampage.
Yeah,
So
you got to. Yeah.
let's whoever's sitting down right now, get him off. No, it was fun. But he was cool as hell. He was promoting his little water brand, which I thought was unique, the way they connect the water bottles together. But yeah, he was cool, man. He wasn't shy of anything. But when you talked about the streaming deal, I saw something where it was a clip and it said like a married woman
Yeah.
when it's like when she noticed that he was filming, she turned the camera around, but you could see her obviously all up on Rampage, and then like hands her phone to it. He puts his number down or whatever. I was like,
He's
man,
crazy, man.
you gotta be careful out here, dog. You
No,
never
you
know.
you gotta check his streams out, or just like the clips. Like he finds himself in these. That's his content is like going around clubs, stuff like that, just being an idiot and doing funny
Mhm.
stuff, or training dudes. Like I don't know. He's a funny dude though. But I saw you take a picture with him. I was like, man, that's
Yeah,
dope because
it was cool.
he pops
Even
up
though
all the time.
I was a Chuck Liddell fan growing up. I
Who
met my
was it? That
dude,
was the dude.
he was badass. But my pops and his buddies, they'd all watch UFC, and that was around that time. It was Rampage, Tito Ortiz, uh, Forrest Griffin, Chuck Liddell, obviously, Daniel Cormier. Like those guys were kind of at the top of their game. So we didn't really like Rampage because he was Chuck Liddell's rival. But it's funny, like now looking back, I'm like, man, he was actually like I'd have liked him now that I'm older.
Yeah. Now that
But
you know.
yeah,
That's
he
funny,
was
man.
wild, bro.
So where'd you watch the Super Bowl out there? Were you still out there when the game was played, or you left by then?
No, I left Wednesday. I got back here, and then of course had to go to some wedding. I mean, wedding season has hit 100% in my life this year. I mean, I got obviously, having a girlfriend, her friends are getting married, so that doesn't help. But like, I even have 4 or 5 of my buddies that I'm going to, and then she's probably got 4 or 5 or 6 more. Who knows? So,
Yeah, you're busy, man.
yeah, yeah, and then moving. I mean, shoot, go to New Orleans this weekend for Mardi Gras. Uh, yeah, pray for me.
Yeah, you got your hands full. Tell me what you thought about that Super Bowl, man. Because look, we got our guy Jay Mill. He's Super Bowl champ,
Hmm.
which I'm gonna ask you about this in a second. Because
Saw him. Saw Jay Mill. I
did you?
interviewed a bunch of our guys. So because I was that first night, Monday nights, when all the players come out, one team at a time, and that's what I did. I mean, I did it last year in New Orleans. Kind of a humbling experience for me because at one time I thought I was going to be in their shoes. So being a guy interviewing people that I thought I was going to be, it was tough, but I made the most of it. I kind of come in as approach like, hey man, like I don't know if you remember me, played against you, or obviously if it's a former teammate, like Saul Ballmore's funny too. I like he was like he was like shocked to see me,
Same
which I get
dude.
it. Yeah, same guy. I saw Milrow, chopped it up with him, interviewed both of them, saw 3-3. Mac Hollins, was with me in Atlanta. He's awesome guy, different cat, but great dude.
What was his entrance attire? Please, I've been trying to understand this. It was a prison uniform and holding his, I think Mike Vrabel's high school jersey is what I read. Do you have any
Yeah.
context on that? I think a lot of people are still trying to figure that out. It's like,
So what I'm assuming is, and this is what they all say about assuming. Now he wore that jersey for pregame, so he didn't carry anything else. So I think he was just carrying the jersey into the stadium to wear. I don't think that had anything to do with the costume. I don't know if you ever seen Silence of the Lambs.
I feel like I've seen it like years ago, or at least parts and pieces of it. I'm not gonna remember specific parts, but yeah, I know of it.
Hannibal Lecter, right? That's
Yeah,
the main
yeah.
criminal. I think that's what he looked like in the movie. I think he had that like jumpsuit on, whatever that criminal jumpsuit is, and then that mask. I think that's where it's from. Because my
Oh,
pops is I
let me
think
look
my
it up.
grandmother sent it to me, and she's like, "Hey, this is your friend. Like, what does he do?" Grandma, she don't know, and I'm like,
Let me see.
well, she does know. She's younger. She's my step grandmother, but basically like my mom, anyways. And I was like, I think it's Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs, but I could be wrong.
Well, that's what online is saying, that his his attire that he arrived in was allegedly inspired by that. So I think you are right. I just
That's what it looked
I'm,
like to
I'm
me.
I just wonder what goes into his decisions to pick these things out. I'm not one of these people that's
Don't
going to
know.
sit there and like flame him. I mean, like, it's what it is. I mean, that's what he likes to do. I mean, cool. I just was kind of like, where is that coming from with this? I mean, like the no shoes thing. I think, all right, that's cool, man. He likes to ground on the way in, and that's his signature thing. I'm not gonna freak out over it, but I'm like, all right, are you wearing a Halloween costume? Because bro, it's February, so I was a little confused on that. But
I don't know.
each his
Hannibal
own.
Lecter was a serial killer, so maybe
Maybe he was. Yeah, that's okay. All
that
right,
was
we're
what he
going
was
off of
trying to
that.
portray. Yeah,
All
like,
right,
hey,
fair
I'm
enough.
ready to. And he actually balled out. He got a touchdown.
He did.
I know they obviously didn't win, but still, like, he had a great game.
No, he played well. I thought 3-3 played well. Anthony Jennings, by the way, that's his nickname. We call him 3-3. I thought he played well. Um, Josh Jobe, man, he played a lot, and maybe this is why. And I'm going to ask you about this. Maybe this is why some people have this. I don't know, man, but we had 7 guys total play in the game, and I know there's a number of guys like we just met. Jaron Reed, he's a dog. I played with Jaron, and he was a little bit before your time, but he's
Yeah.
an animal, man. He's probably year 10 in the league. He's been playing at a high level since, but a lot of guys with some good impacts. Joe, Jay Reed, Anthony, say we were naming, but our guy Jay Mill is a part of it too. And
Robbie Oots,
Robbie Oots as well. I think he also
CJ
was
Dupree.
CJ Dupree. Yeah, I think those 3 might have been inactive for the game. But here's my thing.
Right.
They still are Super Bowl champions. I mean, regardless if you played, you didn't play, you're on the practice squad, you're on injured reserve. I mean, like you still are very much part of the team, and we know that even from being here. I mean, we've had walk-ons, equipment managers, everybody gets the ring. I mean, the people that work in compliance, you're part of the team. But I want to ask you when we come back. We're going to hit the timeout first, but man, Jay Mill can't catch a break, man. He posted one picture.
Oh,
of him
I saw that.
celebrating.
I saw that. People are on him.
Are they? I'll show you the comments and we'll talk about it when we come back.
What?
Right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230.
That's crazy.
WTBC.
Wrong people. People cannot just focus on themselves, right?
Dude,
Hey
when I tell
guys,
you,
you're
hold on,
guaranteed to make them
let
smile.
me mute that real quick. When I tell you, I don't think I've met a dude as controversial as Jalen Milroe, who literally is just being himself, a nice, respectable young man.
Yeah.
Anything he does makes these people so mad, man. Hold on, let me pull it up so you can see it.
I mean, what do you think it is? Like the fact that he didn't win a national championship? Like,
Brother, your guess is
I
good
didn't
as
win
mine. I mean,
3.
I mean, listen,
Bryce
I'm
didn't win
sure
one.
he didn't.
He
You
didn't start one.
listen, and exactly, and there's probably a number of I think that everybody probably all has their different reasons, but like you just look at like underneath, like these are the comments underneath, man. Like immediately, I don't know if you can read them, but and a matter of fact, I think this lady, I think she listens to our show, so she's an Alabama fan. I can tell he worked really hard for that ring, which is clear sarcasm. So that's coming from an Alabama fan and who is a listener of our show because I remember I followed her because she complimented the show. But I'm like, you were taking time out of your day to comment negativity and hate towards a fellow guy that played here who again did nothing wrong. I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand if he was making comments the way Damien does in the media or something to really trigger or give somebody a reason. But I'm like, this dude, all he did
Yeah.
was maybe he had a couple games where he didn't play his best, which is completely normal. And this is what this dude. I'm like, you can't make this up, man.
It's correct. Now I understand, like, just some NFL fan seeing this, knowing that he's a backup quarterback, like when you do nothing in the group project, still get an A, whatever. I mean, that's funny, clever, okay. But if you're a Bama fan and you are still commenting things of that nature, I just don't
Yeah,
understand.
I
My
don't
thing
either, bro.
is, it's like it's not even a good comparison because obviously he's what was Milroe, third round pick?
Third round, yep.
Third round pick quarterback who's behind a $100 million quarterback who was almost an MVP last year. Where was Sam an MVP
No,
last
he
year?
wasn't. But I mean, he had a really good year with the Vikings. It was kind of dumb they let him walk, but they put their money on the young quarterback they drafted. But
Yeah, sure.
no, you're
They're too fired
100%
up.
right. I mean, like he got drafted. So here's my thing. This is what I wondered though, and I'm not trying to make this a one guy versus the other. I promise I'm not. But I'm genuinely curious. Say Ty got
Yeah.
drafted to a team, even as a first rounder, but serves as the primary backup, and that team goes on to win a Super Bowl. Like, will people still act like that? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to make
I
it
don't
one guy
know.
versus another, but I'm genuinely asking that because that's why I made that clip about just kind of like the way both guys were kind of sent off. And I had some people really say, "Well, I haven't seen that." I'm like, I'm not going and looking for it. It's everywhere. I mean, like I just see so like anytime this guy's name is brought up, it's crazy. His dad even reached out to me. His dad saw the his dad reached out to me because I know his dad from when he was here, man. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say everything we talked about, but
Mr. Quentin's a
I'm
good dude. I
great
always
dude,
call
man.
him OG. I just
Great dude. Yeah, no, great dude. And it's just I'm like, bro, like the reason I bring that up is people's families see this, man. Like, so
Yeah.
all that stuff, these people like his dad, his family, they see that. Like they know the hard work and sacrifice that their son, even them,
Mm.
to be able to contribute to this university and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, it's so crazy how people just forget. I mean, the year before that dude took a team that lost to Texas, got benched, showed resiliency, came back,
Mm.
led that team to an SEC championship win over Georgia, college football
Mhm.
playoff appearance with a 4-team playoff. And really, it wasn't his fault in that Michigan game. The offensive line played horrible, didn't
Yeah.
protect, and defense really gave up the drive. I know, but then people only look at the last play of the game, which the call was what it was. It's just crazy to me, man. Like I said, I'm not bringing this up to start controversy.
Yeah.
I genuinely can't wrap my head around how people like sleep at night. Just know, like you just wake up and you choose just to be ugly as a person, like personality wise.
Yeah.
Like I'll never understand. You have to literally use your time and energy to comment something ugly and how that makes you feel good as a person. People are just
Yeah.
weird, man. Hold on, we're about to come back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give my spiel.
please. And welcome back into this Hump Day edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, so we're joined by Slim Slady. We're talking a little bit about Super Bowl. Slade had the chance to go out there, had some cool moments interviewing some folks, but we brought up this conversation before we went to break, and again, not trying to start all this controversy. I just genuinely just trying to understand it and ask others' opinions. Maybe I'm not the only person that thinks of this, but I've seen all our guys posting, some stuff. I saw Jaron Reed post, his picture with the trophy and guys celebrating all that stuff. But our guy Jay Mill posted yesterday. I think it was last night, a matter of fact, at 9:20. A pretty dope picture, man. It's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, it's
I
fire.
would
He's
post
got
that in a heartbeat.
who wouldn't, right? I mean, he's got the goggles, a hat backwards. He's chilling. He's smoking the cigar. Looks like he
Smoke's
knows what
coming
he's doing
out.
there too. Yeah, he got a smoke kind of. My
Well,
dad would
it'd
love
be
this picture.
Tennessee enough. You get used
Yeah,
to it.
you beat Tennessee enough. Yeah, but you know what's funny? He's still got a number of guys that they don't really know what they're doing. They're trying to figure out. They're inhaling this big old cigar. I'm like, whoa, brother, you don't want to inhale all that, man. But nah, look, he looks clean, man. Now, here's my thing, Slated. This is we just were talking about this during the timeout, but it's just the weirdest thing because again, all I did was click on this picture, and you just see, including Bama fans on here. I mean, just the reactions that is like people so mad. And listen, he looks cool as hell in the picture. He's on. Why would you not post a picture where you look cool? And this dude is not posting this to make it seem like, oh man, I just went out. He knows that he was a reserve on this team. Which let me be clear, that's normal for a quarterback drafted in the third round, like you mentioned, playing behind Sam Darnold, one of the league's best, a guy that very much is playing his best ball in his prime right now. Sam is younger than me, a matter of fact. I think Sam's 28, just turning 29. So listen, I mean, like the guy's doing his role, and his role this year was reserve quarterback, charting plays, got a couple snaps here and there, and he's, definitely a piece for those guys probably down the road. But nonetheless, he's a member of that team. And so the reason I bring this up, Slade, is that, for us, it never mattered. Like, I remember after we would win any championship or anything, our equipment managers, guys who aren't even like athletes on the team, they're taking pictures with trophies, whatever, cigars after Tennessee. And first of all, be clear, I have no problem with that because they are a member of the team. They're not a player on the team, but they're a member on the team. The people in compliance who literally work and file HR stuff and worry about NIL things being legal, they get championship rings. And I see them in the locker room celebrating, taking like it's a team effort. And when so much goes in to get here, I would be mad at him or anybody else if they chose not to enjoy the moment. Like you're telling me he should just say, "Oh, well, I was a third string quarterback this year, so I'm not going to take any photos or post any photos. I'm just going to just put my suit back on and leave the locker room while everybody's, spraying champagne and smoking cigars and like, come on, guys. Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. And then like I don't know, and I got to see. I don't know if Robbie posted a picture yet, or if he did, or maybe even CJ Dupree. But those guys get that type of reaction. Like I can't wrap my head around how you have a guy who literally doesn't do anything to draw attention to himself like that. I mean, like he's just. I wish people really they see the interviews, but if these people really met this dude and understood how good of a young man he is, man, I there's nothing bad I can say about this dude, and I've known him since he was a freshman here on campus. I've never had any I'm talking about before he was even playing. Always the nicest dude I've ever met. Great family. Like I just talked about, I talked with his dad after we posted that thing, and he reached out and you're chopping it up a little bit. But to see the reaction, Slay, that also involves Alabama fans. I mean, what's the deal, man?
Well, it like you said, I don't understand it. I've never understood it. I'll hit on one thing. I don't care. Like you talked about equipment managers and all aspects of the organization. I don't care if you scrub the floors or you're throwing the passes. We all had to play a part to build a winning team, a championship team. So my thing is, you don't think Milroe was every day at practice giving these guys a look? Drake May, guess what he does well? Runs out of the pocket. and I'm sure they played a lot of other teams this year that were good dual threat quarterbacks. He's given the scout team or giving the defense a great look every day. He's learning. He's obviously behind a very good quarterback. He's developing. He's got way more money than anybody in that chat. First off, if you want to be real, like
True,
more money they'll probably ever
and living
see.
their dream,
and that's where it's a personal thing for me. Obviously, like I love our fans. We have some of the best fans in the world, but there were times where obviously I'm sure you got some hate, and I know there was a couple specific times, and maybe I earned it. I don't know, but I swear it felt like if I did one little thing that was not perfect, I was getting executed on Twitter, which is fine. It comes with the territory. But it's like your own folks, your own fans. And a lot of it was like students, like guys like in the frats. And that's where we talk about how I don't know if it's trying to belittle someone. Obviously, it could just be, people are trolls. It is what it is. Like it could be just that. But I do think that some people are envious of others and at one time wish or thought they were going to be in that position. So they make themselves feel better by trying to tear someone else down when there's no need for it. Now, there are just trolls out there that just troll for who knows why, to get clicks or to get engagement. But I just never understood when our fans would try to come after our own players, especially in college, because man, we're 18 to 21 years old. Like, you don't think we want to succeed? You don't think we want to win? You don't think we put all this effort in here to come out there and drop a pass, throw an interception, miss a tackle, whatever the case may be? We did not plan on that happening, nor did we prepare for that to happen, nor do we want that to happen. And I just never understood that. And I even now as a fan today, I do catch myself sometimes feeling that way. I'm like, man, how you not catch that? Like, what we doing? But I'm also understanding at the end of the day, because I played, that, hey, look, they're out there. They're trying to do the best job that they possibly can. They want to put their best foot forward in every situation, every play. I know that people make mistakes. It's not always going to be perfect. But I don't understand sometimes how fans assume that we are, or not me anymore, but these athletes are not capable of making mistakes. And if it does, it's like the worst thing ever. And I don't, even if it's ruining your parlay. Look, you don't see me complaining about Sam Darnold not throwing for 225 yards and Jackson Smith not catching over 90 plus yards receptions, because that was in my parlay and none of it hit. But
maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what, maybe they had parlay. It's a good point. See, I've never been a better, so I'm not going to understand it. Maybe.
Maybe they had anytime touchdown Milrow and he never went in, so they're like pissed. I don't know.
Maybe when I tell you, Slade, I try so hard to just, even because that's how my brain works. I'm like, well, sometimes there's got to be something. Other than the obvious reason, like you pointed out, people are envious, they're jealous, they want something to be mad about, they look for a reason to be offended. But I'm like, maybe it's that. Maybe they were betting on a game when he was at quarterback. But I'm just like, I've never seen people act like that. I mean, like, again, if he was, I don't even have a good example, because I don't even know many guys that just have gone on.
So you're
and
saying
done
like
really
it's
like, say he came out at a press
towards
conference.
him.
Yeah, because I'm like thinking in my head, like, what other player has had like a bad performance but gets treated like that? I mean, I know Ryan Williams gets a lot of scrutiny right now, but it was funny as hell because his autograph line at Coleman Coliseum the other day was wrapped around the building.
Of course.
Right.
And I bet Milrose would be too.
100. I always say that. It's crazy. That people,
it's different
online,
here
they sit behind the keyboard.
Yep.
That's what the internet has done, man. These people that literally have never put on pads, that had the highest rank they've been is junior varsity in high school. They sit behind. I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just being honest. I'm talking about the trolls right now, not our good fans. But a lot of these trolls, like you said, they probably wish that they were in these guys' shoes. But like, it's the weirdest thing with him, though. Like, it's like, and you're even seeing, like you said, even on the NFL level, people just love to hate. I'm just, man. I don't know.
understand it either.
It drives me nuts though, because like I said, he's such a good person. I
Mm.
listen, if it was somebody that was a tool or an a-hole and they were rude, I get it. You know, that comes with, how you treat people. People remember that. They remember how you made them feel. But I'm like, this dude made everybody feel good outside of if you want to complain about him having a bad game or two, which is completely normal. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
anybody. Patrick Mahomes has had games where he's played awful. Does that make him not the best young up and coming quarterback? No, not necessarily up and coming, but you get my point. Young quarterback right now in this generation? No.
Mm.
It just people. It's weird, man.
I
Really weird stuff. So I just was
don't.
curious your thoughts because I
Yeah.
mean, you've
My
like I said, I
thought.
think you've had a moment. I mean, one there's something. Did you drop a pass or something? I feel like people were like in
Oh.
outrage
Oh
over
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't
Against
know if I'm
Florida.
making that up, but I feel like there was
No,
like a play or
trust me.
something somebody was mad
It's
about.
never left my mind.
Well,
No.
I mean
Well,
it is
no, you're
actually.
good. It is what it is. And like, look, man, I prided myself in catching everything, and I felt like I had to, and for the most part, did. I mean, I think I had two true drops, non-contested drops in my career, and the one against Florida was a situation where, man, like the ball just got in on me. I didn't see it. Bryce sometimes was hard to find when he was in the pocket, and
Are you saying
it
because
was,
he's small?
yeah. But he always did a good job of finding windows. And obviously our line was huge. But I remember breaking like I had a corner post option route, and I broke across the safety's face, and it was low red area, so everything's supposed to happen so fast, but it felt like slow
Mhm.
motion. If you go and watch the clip, you're like, it hit me in the chest. You're like, well, how the hell you didn't catch it? And I didn't make any excuses for it. I'm still not making excuses for it. I wish I could go back. I don't know if it had changed anything in my career trajectory, but
What game
uh,
was it?
against Florida, at Florida. And so I
Wait.
broke the post.
Well, why they put y'all won the game?
We scored like the next play. But, and I think maybe similar to what Milroe's dealing with, he's a minority in the quarterback position. Maybe I was a minority in the receiver position. I don't know if it's that. But my thing was the reason I probably got a lot of hate because a lot of guys that are looking at me in a similar way in the front houses and probably played the same position. And like, man, I could have caught that
Mm,
ball. Or man, like I should have been. If
mm.
how can he not do that? And whatever. I don't know if it's that. I didn't question it, but on that play, man, like I was expecting the ball now, and then I don't know if I took my eyes off because I thought Bryce had moved on. But as soon as I mean, I didn't even see it until it hit me in the chest. Like I saw it on the ground because that's how fast it came in. I didn't see it come out of his hand. And like, but what do you do? Like, what do you expect me to say? I didn't make any excuses. I owned up. I was accountable for the drop. But now, I mean, I could be honest because like it's not going to matter. And it happens. Like I've caught things that I didn't think I should have caught. You know what I mean? And then I dropped things that I should have caught. So it is what it is. I think it comes with the territory, and I think Milrose handled it very well. I don't know if it was because of the fact that he was probably he had a lot of weight put on him with
Following
DeBoer
Bryce.
coming in, following Bryce, and just like we all depended on him to help or to have a good season that year. And there's only so much he can do, and there's only so much um, that he's really able to succeed in when it's a whole new coaching staff. Guys left. Yeah, he had a couple bad games, but man, like he
Yeah.
tore it up in some games, and it's not. And I hate when it's all put on the quarterback, but I think that transition, and I think Alabama fans looked at him to be kind of our savior that year with a new coaching staff, and I think to me, when he didn't technically deliver us to the promised land, I
Mhm.
think that's maybe why he gets a lot of flock for now. But I mean, leave it. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm with you. I mean, I hate it for him. I know he doesn't. He's used to it, and
He
it probably
handles it
doesn't
really
bother him
well.
anymore. But
No, no. If anything, it probably bothers me more than it does him. But I guess it's because I
yeah,
kind of
same.
take that big brother approach. Because I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I watched the dude grow up, while he was here. I got to know him and his family really well. And I mean, I can't say anything, even if I tried remotely close to negative about this guy, not even outside of football, like as a person. And that's, I
No,
think, why
nothing at
it
all.
drives me nuts. Then it makes it even worse. Like you talking about, like when it's coming from our own fans, like
Mhm.
people are entitled to criticism and however they want to say things, whatever. But where I start drawing the line is where I always say there's a big difference between constructive criticism, you giving your opinion in a debate, a little bit of a frustration versus disrespect, right? That's where it starts to
Yeah.
separate. And when you're just spewing stuff out and it takes time and energy. There's only so much time in a day. When you specifically take the time to click reply, use the mental energy to come up with some sarcastic, smart ass, rude remark,
Yeah.
as mean as you can be, to a guy that literally sacrificed his body, his time, his effort, family sacrifice, and all these sacrifices, and delivered a SEC championship game, win, I should say, a lot of big moments, leading your team to a 4-team college football playoff. But then, like the second year, like you just said, with all these other factors, new coach, a wide receiver room that was not good at all, offensive line play that was not good, him having to be the leading rusher and the guy throwing basically doing everything, and then a defense that was they're decent, pretty good, I would say, but
Mhm.
still all those factors, and it's like it's just weird. I mean, because this might be a hot take, but it's just true. I mean, to be fair, he was more successful as a quarterback in terms of what he won than Ty, if we're just
Mhm.
being honest. Right? I mean, I know Ty made it to the SEC championship game, but he lost. He got
Yeah.
blown out. This guy is a SEC champion. Not trying to make people mad. Those are facts. If you guys want to debate their careers, you mentioned Bryce Young. I know Bryce accomplished a lot individually, but if we're going off of what everybody goes off of championships and all this stuff, Bryce did lead you guys to, was it one, maybe two SEC championships as a starter? How many? I don't even know.
We well, I don't know about in 2021 won SEC and then went to we lost in championship.
So he at least he won an SEC championship, at least one for sure. Then we know
Yeah.
did lead his team to it. So all I'm getting at
I
is
don't think the next year they won. Or didn't even
I
make it. I don't think.
I
I
don't
can't
think so
remember.
either. Yeah, I didn't think so, but I'm just looking at it. I mean, to be fair, team accomplishments wise, not too far off. Now I know
Yeah.
that's a hot take. People gonna think it's crazy, but at the end of the day, people aren't mad about his individual stuff. People aren't, lifting Bryce up for the individual stuff. It's about what the team stuff, because they want to be able to say we are team, are national
Mhm.
champions. We are SEC champions. That's what matters to fans. The guy winning the Heisman doesn't matter so much. I'm just bringing facts. I know people aren't going to like it, but these are just facts that we're talking
Yeah.
here. We
Yeah. If that's how we're basing off of, that's 100% true. I mean, and I
man, just think about it.
look at the teams that and like look, I'll be the first to tell you Bryce is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen and played
Oh,
with.
no doubt. Yeah, no
But
doubt.
look at the team he played with. Like look at the guys around him. I mean, from a O-line standpoint, running back standpoint, receiver standpoint,
Yes, it
I
is.
don't really think Miller had that. Definitely not in his last year. Maybe the first
Oh,
year
last year,
starting, he was
hell
good.
no. His,
So
his last year, hell
so
no. I mean, what
we can
Jameer
go on
Gibbs,
and on
Bryce?
about all the different
Yeah, no, I
things
mean,
that
it's
we
but
know
see,
play a
what I
factor.
enjoy, yeah, 100%. But what I enjoy is how, like, me and you can actually break it down. Problem is
Yeah.
when some people they start leading with emotions. They don't want to hear the facts like we're talking about. But you're right. I mean, Jameer Gibbs was what, first round running back.
Mhm.
JMO, first round wide receiver. Y'all's receiver room that year. I mean, JMO, Mechie was what, second rounder? I
Yep.
think he was. Who else was in that room? I mean, maybe not the same room as
Brian
2020.
Robinson,
Yeah, B Rob ended up being a second
Cam
or third round
Latu,
pick.
third round tight end.
Yeah.
We
2020 though,
had
I'm not gonna lie.
Evan
Y'all's
Neal.
yeah.
Um,
He was a dude. Evan Neal, I'm trying to think, was Landon still playing with you guys or no? Did he leave at that point?
he's gone after that. He was gone 2020. I'm trying to think
Yeah, I
of our
got
O line. I mean, Emil Ekiyor was a great player. He didn't go draft. He was undrafted, but
I think I had Kendall Randolph at one point too. And
he
names
was
that aren't going to
kind of
necessarily pop, but yeah, I mean, dudes that ended up being a part of a really, really good run. I mean, 2020, I'm not gonna lie, y'all had a squad.
yeah. I mean
20
that list
2020,
is
yeah.
long.
Hold on, I know you got a few minutes. We're gonna hit a timeout, but I want to ask you about it real quick when we come back. y'all had a squad, but this Indiana team just did something also that was pretty impressive. I want to get your thoughts on how you compare your team that is
Mhm.
viewed as maybe one of the best teams ever versus that team. And we'll do that when we come back real quick, right on the Miller's Edge. Tyler .9, 1230 WTBC.
Samuel, my thing is with the
If you got time.
yeah,
If you're
I can
okay
hit it
with it.
real quick. Yeah. I'm just only thing I hadn't ate lunch. I'm getting hungry.
Oh shoot, yeah, well, yeah, let me make sure you do that.
No, you're good.
Wait, hold on. I can't even hear. Wait, Chase, did you send it to break? Oh, there he goes. Good deal.
My
I was
only
like,
with Milrow, like as a man, dude, like
Hey,
I don't talk about anybody. I try not to. I mean, are there times where like I'm in traffic or I'm like, man, screw this dude, whatever. But if I
that's
don't
fair.
know you, if I don't know you as a person, man, I'm not gonna judge you. I try not to judge a book by its cover. But that's what bothers me is like you're talking about somebody that you will never probably meet in your life. And
Mm-hmm.
you're letting a post of all things interrupt your day and your thought process. I don't understand it. And I know w- we're in a different mindset because we were once in that position
Mm-hmm.
and we were once the person that people scrutinized or glorified, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I just from a mental perspective, I struggle and I don't even realize it nowadays of like understanding that I'm a nobody. Like in my career, like I'm at almost at the lowest of the low. And like at one point, I had people counting on me, depending on me, my teammates, coaches, family, whatever it was. And then also
Mm-hmm.
like people doing pretty much everything for me from a schedule standpoint. Not like, yeah, I had help in school, but I actually had to go to class, unfortunately. But like there are so many things that I'm learning that
It's different.
I didn't realize I was that, I guess not bad, but just not as efficient with time management, scheduling, uh, kind of not thinking of myself. Like when it comes to accountability from a physical standpoint, man, like I was very, very accountable. I was very I said I was hard on myself. I made sure that, oh, I didn't run that route correct. What do I need to do? Or like, man, I know that was wrong. I need to do better. This is how I'm going to do it. I was I self-evaluated myself very well, but now I'm not getting evaluated based off things I do physically. Now, obviously, there was a mental part of football, but uh, I always was on top of knowing the plays. But now, like I'm, it's hard for me to be critical on myself from a decision making standpoint, from a time management standpoint,
Yeah.
because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm doing what's need to be done, but the outcome of those decisions, and I know I'm kind of rambling here, are not really in the best way. And I have a hard time just taking accountability that, hey, this is my fault. Because at one time, like I didn't have to make excuses to be late to something. I may have to make excuses of how I'm gonna get to where I need to be, or like what's my schedule looking like, or uh, how I'm gonna do anything in life, because a lot of things were pretty much already predetermined by uh, which
Sure.
we needed because we didn't have time to think about
Yes.
that, and because
You're
we have
right.
just so much involved in understanding, so much pressure and so much mental learning from a playbook, from a practice to working out, like all these physical and mental demands. Like we needed that resource to help us understand, or have a schedule, have our time management. But now that I'm out of it, and I've gotten much better, but it was a struggle for me to not only manage myself correctly from a time standpoint, but also create a good schedule.
Yep.
But also, when I didn't do a good job of that, take accountability for it, because I was just thinking, oh, it is what it is. So
No,
I know I kind of
it's
ramble on.
definitely an adjustment. No, no, you're right. No, it's definitely an adjustment.
I don't even know
You're
where I was going with that. I think it had something to do with our Mill Road conversation
no,
about
no, it makes
people
sense.
seeing these guys in a different way and not understanding kind of how we operate and how we have to go through our daily lives, or
Yeah, no, you're
Winstead.
1,000% spot on. That's why I know people probably get sick and tired of when I'm always going to war for them or bringing them up, and they probably think it just like somebody was like, "Oh, you talked about Bryce and Milroe, but no Mac Jones." When I said the 2020 team, I'm saying everybody on the 2020 team. I was including, Mac Jones. I was saying
Yeah.
like that team was. So if anything, I said he had the best team out of
Mhm.
everybody. Yeah, come on. Guess what I'm saying? People just they misinterpret stuff. No, all our quarterbacks have been good players.
No doubt.
We haven't had I mean, since what? The last 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks have all been. I guess Milroe being a third round pick was probably what the quote unquote latest pick. I mean, Bryce Young first rounder. You got Mac
Mac
Jones first
first,
rounder.
Tua first,
Tua
Jalen
first.
second.
Jalen. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, all our quarterbacks have been really good. So I don't want to make you late and not be able to get food, man. If you want to dip, go
Well,
ahead and run, bro.
are we off break?
We're in a commercial real quick, but it's cool. Go eat you some food, bro. Because I just realized
Okay.
it's 48. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, don't go hungry. Don't worry about that, bro.
Well, I just say if I don't eat now, like
Yeah, no, you'll do it.
either won't
Yeah,
eat or because I
no, no, no,
eventually
no.
got to
You
go
need to
back
eat,
to the
bro.
office.
You need to eat, bro. No, we got one last segment, bro. Please go eat. I can't do that. No,
I
I appreciate
appreciate
you hanging out, bro.
No, well, I appreciate you looking out for my well being too.
Dude, come on, man. I got to, bro. Got to. Yeah,
All
well,
right,
I'll ask you. I'll ask you that next time. Compare those two
cool.
teams, and then I got another question too for next time. We'll run it back next week.
All right, sounds good, brother. Appreciate it, Samuel. You have a blessed
Appreciate
day.
you,
Roll
my
Tide.
guy. Yes, sir. We'll see you, brother. Good deal. Yeah, I can't let my dog starve like that. Can't let my dog starve like that. Hold on. And speaking of dogs, let me let these dogs run to the bathroom real quick because they clearly got to go. All right, let's see. Where are we at? Got a few minutes left. Live on Facebook. Yeah, we're still live. We're still live. No, I just played our little highlight clip real quick so we could or so I could get up and let these dogs out real quick. Christian, you got to ask yourself. Man, it was me. You know what's funny, Gray? I was going to ask, like, that was the other question I wanted to ask him too. I'm gonna save it for next time because he did leave early. So, but I already know his answer. I think for him, he would say without a doubt, yes, he would want to come back. I think he definitely would. Live on Facebook. Hey, what do you mean by that, Louis? Yeah, no, we're streaming live. You meant like when I just got up? You're saying it still was going? You didn't see the clip of like the little "be right back" mess? Is that what you mean? It should have played it. Should have played. Let me try to read some of y'all's comments too. Milroe's a great runner, but maybe not the best passer we've ever had. He could be inconsistent at times. Real good passer at times. Yeah, no deny. Yeah, I mean that's totally fair assessment. My thing, Louis, is people take that and then use that as an excuse to completely trash a guy and disrespect somebody. And that to me is where I'm kind of like, what are we doing? That's dumb. You know what I mean? Like, like, all right, somebody's a little inconsistent here or there, but I always explain it like this, right? Um, not every player is going to be perfect in every single way. And I get it. Everybody's like, oh, well, the quarterback, man. Listen, in today's day and age, the game of football is played a little bit different. It's evolved. And you see a lot more dual threat guys. That is a threat in itself. And a lot of guys have success like that. I mean, Diego Pavia, you look at him. Look at what he's been able to do with Vanderbilt as that type of quarterback. So I get some fans weren't necessarily I guess it wasn't their favorite style of quarterback or their favorite style of play, but when that's the best player that you got at the time, and they have that type of skill set that you can really um, do good stuff with if it's done the right way, you got to stick with it. It's like Lamar Jackson. You'd be a fool to say he's not a good quarterback just because he's a dominant runner, but he also can throw, but he could be a little inconsistent compared to somebody who might be a traditional quarterback at times. He's better in other ways, right? So and welcome back into this hump day edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Big thanks to Slade Bolden. We let Slade run a little early because I know he needed to grab some lunch, and I didn't want to do that to him, man. I can't have my guy starving while he's getting back in his grind. So we'll get that answer on comparing the two teams, which national championship team was better, his 2020 squad that went undefeated and won it all, or this most recent Indiana squad. We'll definitely ask him that and bring up that debate next week when he joins us, because I think that's going to make a good conversation. You got two really good football teams, and I wonder how he believes they would match up. So we'll do that when we are joined by him next week. But let me remind you real quick about our friends over at Lamparello Law Education and Advocacy, founded by attorney and professor Adam Lamparello. Remember, Lamparello Law works with high school, college, and graduate students on academic and career success, providing mentoring, exam and test taking preparation, subject matter mastery, application strategy, personal statements, resumes, and so much more. Adam also provides legal representation for students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct matters, First Amendment cases, name, image, and likeness issues, and all criminal defense matters. Wonder if Bediako used Adam, maybe he would still be playing. That's probably not a good joke and shouldn't. Yeah, a little too soon, but and is known for representing his clients with genuine care, passion, and relentless advocacy. If you guys want serious guidance and strong representation, just like we get from our guy Adam, he is our official representation here on the show. Make sure you guys check them out and contact Lamparello Law at 201-317-5115. You can also visit their soon-to-be-launched website, Lamparello-Law. You can see it on the stream as well for more information. Again, that is Lamparello Law Education and Advocacy, our official representation here on the Miller's Edge. So really good stuff that we had going with Slade. I really enjoyed that. And I know people are probably like, oh man, no more of the controversy, but it was something that I saw going around last night. And you guys know me, man. Anytime something is near and dear to me, man, I got to take on that big brother role, and I got to look out for my guys, man. I stand up to bully it, man. I'm not for that. I don't play all that nonsense. But trying to catch up on some of these chats that we have here over on the stream. Let's see. Kim says everybody plays a part in helping the team succeed, whether on or off the field during the game. He has a right to celebrate. Absolutely. Like I said earlier, I mean, I would be scratching my head if people didn't take advantage of that. I mean, like practice squad, coach, assistant coach, front office. I mean, everybody should celebrate. I mean, like if people really understood what goes into winning a championship on whatever level in terms of college or NFL, basketball, football, baseball, I think they would understand why guys are just blessed and very appreciative and excited to be in that moment, man. And I have not won a Super Bowl, but I've won 2 national championships, and I've lost 2 national championships. I can just tell you, when you win one, you just everything that's gone into it. And this whole thing starts now, like when teams are doing OTAs, all the work that's done, making the team, going through training camp, and then finally at the end of a long NFL season, earning that opportunity, man. Like everybody should, regardless of what your role was, man. Everybody earned it. It plays a role. Just like I always say, man, walk-ons were extremely important to us winning championships. Sit here and say that they played the same role necessarily as Derrick Henry in 2015, but he played a role, much bigger one, but it still was a role, just like the walk-ons did. Like me, when I was a redshirt freshman that year, I was on special teams and did some cleanup duty, but hey, a role is a role, and everybody contributes in one way or another. So really good stuff, man. Today, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out on the streams. And if you haven't checked us out on the streams, always do that. If you guys enjoy watching the shows, at the Miller's Edge on YouTube, at Tide 100.9 on Facebook, and always download that Tide 100.9 app completely free, where you can listen to virtually any show and leave app messages and voice messages that can be played on air as well. That said, we got to get out of here. You got Deep South College football coming up next with Wyatt Fulton. He'll have you guys covered. And we'll look forward to talking with you guys tomorrow right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.